Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you by the great folks over at Montana's.
Oh, Montana's. One of my favorite states, too, Montana. You ever been? I've been to, Old Faithful? Is that what's in Montana's?
I don't know.
Yellowstone Park, right?
Yeah.
That's in Montana's, I think. I had a baseball tournament in Bozeman,
Montana is in Montana.
There I am right there on the flame-grilled ribs in my background. Holy cow, look at that. That's what Alex has in his living room. He's got one of the most beautiful fireplaces you'll ever see.
And for the podcast listeners, just put a fireplace behind Faber. Actually, yeah, that's a really close. I like that fireplace.
See, we got to get a green screen for you, Quads.
I'm thinking
when you start telling us that Mikey DiPietro's goalie of the future, he's the best. He's going to be Team Canada's goalie, not only at the World Juniors but at the Olympics
Spengler
as well.
Cup, the big one, the one that really matters.
He's got all that Canada experience now. So
yes, Air Canada has his Canada gear still.
Yeah, but Montana's good folks over there. Daily deals today, Thursday, drink specials. What else you got to say? On to the next thing. But I got a story. I do want to bring something up.
You've totally derailed this. Can I just quickly talk about Montana's first? We haven't got to any of the actual ads.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
This is why we're going to get replaced by a robot.
No. The deals that they say about Montana say 30-second ad. We give them 3, 4, 5 minutes every time. We gave them about 40 minutes the other day about the chicken wings. So today can be a shorter one because I want to bring up something. So shout out Montana's barbecue. They're bringing back the viewing party there at Montana's. But can I give a shout out to our colleague and friend of ours, Amar Gill, who officially is a father. Quads. We learned that this morning. Friend of ours, colleague of ours, work friend of ours. His son, Ruhan Veer Gill. So just want to give a big shout out to our friend Amar. Mom and baby are resting up, he says. So big ups to you, the new papa there. Our friend Amar. So super happy for him. It was good. Amar was a very helpful person for me when my stepmom passed away. It was it was nice to chat with him as he went through something similar in his life. So big love over there to Amar, and stoked for the family over there, man. Really happy for Amar to see that news today. Haven't heard from the dude in months.
Because he was expecting his child.
Yeah, but then you and I get a text out of nowhere and say he's got the kid. It's good news over there. So shout out to Amar. I know he's watching right now. So the kid's first ever YouTube video. Maybe he's watching this right now. Yeah.
Hopefully Amar doesn't make the child become a Canucks fan.
No, I don't think he will. Well, he might.
Well, he might. We'll have to ask Amar about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll figure that out. We'll check in 5 years. We'll see how the kid's doing and what fandom he's been drawn to.
Quickly here.
No, I got one more.
In 5 years, that kid can eat free or eat for $2 at Montana's.
We could probably do it now,
Tuesdays,
right?
Probably. But what is the kid eating?
That's the thing. Do you have to be a certain age to become a kid? Like, are you still an infant until 2?
You can't eat whole foods.
Like, that's the thing at Montana that kids eat for $2 on Tuesday, but as a 1.5-year-old, he's got to pay full price. I don't know. We'll have to we'll talk to the folks over there at Montana.
Read the fine print.
Yeah.
Okay. The other daily deals.
No,
don't cut me off again.
One more time.
Oh boy.
Quick shout out to Kevin, Sterling, Lisa, everybody in the chat firing it up before the show got started here. Everybody's excited for your Friday here because this is your last show of the week, Quads.
Yeah, I always look forward to these.
Fireplace should be behind you. This is what it looks like on Quad's deck on his days off.
On my deck.
All the smoke blowing out there.
Okay. Mondays, half price wings. Tuesdays, kids eat for $2. Wednesday, all you can eat ribs. Thursday, drink specials. 7 locations in British Columbia: Fort St. John, Kelowna, Langley, Nanaimo, Prince George, Tawasin, and of course Victoria. Be sure to go check out Montana's.
Hey, we'll be out at one soon, you and I.
Yes.
I have to correct you here. It's drink every day. There's a different drink deal. It's not just Thursday. It's every day.
I miss Aaron.
Whoa.
I'm just joking. I shouldn't say stuff like that because I'm gonna have a green screen behind me one day, and that's gonna come back to bite me. Alex is writing that down right now.
Yeah.
All right.
I thank you, Alex. That's a great job by the producer at that point. He's got fire going on behind me. He's correcting you. I love it. I think Alex is off to a hell of a start today.
Okay.
Me and Alex were both excited about Friday, actually.
Yes. Okay. So Harmon Dow joining the show tomorrow.
Yeah, but first there's one more thing I got to before we get into the Canucks. Smokes. Because I got to pull this up. Alex, can you get this All-Star tweet up here? I saw the Canucks yesterday. They're tweeting out everything. Every All-Star. I couldn't believe every name coming up. Then what do I see come across my feed? Retweeted by David Quadrelli over there on Twitter for the NHL All-Star vote. for Tyler Myers. What's going on here? I know 139 people retweeted this. Everybody wants Myers to go to the All-Star game.
I'm one of those people.
And I seen that's what I said. Look who it is. I had to highlight it there on the screen. David Quadrelli retweets this.
You have to commit to the bit, right? And last year, right, when everybody was slagging him, I was the only person in the media saying that Myers was fine and that Myers was a good defenseman and he had a good year last year. I was the only one saying it. Only one. Now he's not having the best year this year, admittedly. Not looking great for us on Team Myers, but I have to commit to the bit, so I retweeted. I'm obviously not going to vote for anyone because I think it's unprofessional to vote for Canucks players. But,
you just voted right here.
Well, I have to vote for Myers. You have to commit to the bit. That's part of that's in my contract that I have to support Tyler Myers at all times.
I saw this coming out yesterday. And like I was driving home and I had the GPS on, so I wasn't using my phone. But it kept popping up the notifications, and it popped up, and the only one I saw, like I caught a glimpse of when I was at a light. I looked down, and it's like Riley Stillman All-Star, and I was like, "Hold on, what the hell's going on here?" Because that's all it says, right? It says, and it popped up, and it was like Riley Stillman's an All-Star. I was like, Canucks Twitter went off on their votes if they got Riley Stillman into the All-Star game.
It was so bizarre because what they did is they basically tweeted out the hashtag for each player, and they were basically like, retweet to vote this player into the All-Star game. So obviously, like you said, every single
player.
Yeah, every single player. So like you said, I retweeted the one for Tyler Myers, but I was noticing, I was trying to look for the omissions. I don't think I saw Kyle Burrows, but I saw, oh no, Kyle Burrows is there.
Yeah, I see a Burrows one.
Yeah, I was quickly reading it over. I don't see Colin Delia.
Oh, poor Delia. Eh? So who's got a good?
Why do we keep doing that?
I know, but who's got a really good amount of retweets here? I'm just scrolling.
I'm going to scroll.
Now.
Okay,
I see Riley Stillman has 157.
Bo Horvat has 900, rightfully so.
Okay,
followed by Andrei Kuzmenko with 581. Followed by Quinn Hughes with 494. Then there's a pretty big drop off, and it's Tyler Myers.
Yeah, Tyler Myers
at 300. So
Alex, get on it. You can get back in Quad's good books. You throw a retweet on the on the Tyler Myers tweet there. Anyways, do you think before we go any, do you think anyone's gonna get? Do you think there's gonna be a second Canuck? Like Bo Horvat has to get in, right? He's one of the top scorers in the NHL. It was kind of interesting that he wasn't selected as the first option. I don't think it was a bad decision to go with Elias Pettersson, but the way Horvat's scoring right now, he's an all-star. Like
each team needs a representative.
Yeah.
There's a chance Bo Horvat gets traded. Right. So I wonder if that played. I'm not reporting anything, of course. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. It would have been a bad luck.
Yeah. So Elias Pettersson, we hope, is the safe bet.
Yeah.
To be in the All-Star game. Okay.
No chance for Hughes. No chance for Kuzmenko. You don't.
I think they have a chance. Yeah. I think absolutely they have a chance. But also, like, it's, you know.
Do you think Horvat gets in though?
Yeah, I do. I think there's two. I think it's Horvat and Pettersson.
Okay.
On the topic of Myers,
but at the same time, doesn't so McDavid got voted in for the Oilers? I'm assuming Draisaitl's just sitting there waiting because he has to be in there too.
Get in, yeah.
So that's the thing. Do they need a certain amount of position players? Like, do they need a second goalie? I don't think so.
You're asking.
You probably just need one goalie, but like I feel like it's going to be two forwards and a defenseman. So it's going to be what? Elias Pettersson, or sorry, Bo Horvat, Draisaitl, who's another defenseman. Like, is it going to be Pietrangelo? Maybe out of Vegas for the Pacific. I'm just trying to think of some names here.
Chris Tanev in the All-Star game.
That's what I thought. Would one of those guys go over Quinn Hughes? Like the Canucks could have 3 All-Stars here pretty easily. If you're talking about which defenseman's left off the list, well, Quinn Hughes might be the best in the Pacific there.
Erik Karlsson is the San Jose guy, right?
Right. So he's there. Yeah, he has to be. I don't even have to look that up. That's what I'm thinking. Who's the other defenseman?
Yeah.
So it's got to be. I think Quinn Hughes and Horvat both have a decent chance.
Maybe Riley Stillman has a chance.
Well,
getting
I've
a lot
seen
of
the
retweets.
votes. Yeah,
and my boy Tyler Myers.
Myers has a good amount.
That's right. Okay. On the topic of Tyler Myers, let's talk about the lineup changes today.
Oh, yeah.
As reported by our pal Post Media's Patrick Johnson, who's on the ground in Tampa,
back on Twitter too,
Florida. Back on Twitter, that Patrick Johnson. Lineup changes for the Vancouver Canucks. We'll pull them up here. The big one that everybody's talking about, Chris, is
all capital letters, baby.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Oh yeah.
Getting the scratch, it would appear. on Thursday night. And now, obviously, we know a lot of podcast listeners. We're recording this like 3 hours out from the game, so there's going to be a lot of people that have already watched the game when we talk about it. So we won't spend too long. Boudreaux talked about how it's about accountability, but in the same breath, he called Oliver Ekman-Larsson arguably the Canucks' best defenseman. I am glad he said arguably, because I would argue that a ton. You got Tyler Myers. I'm just kidding. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, dubbed probably the Canucks' best defenseman, which I think is just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, it's almost a joke.
Yeah,
like it's almost a joke from Boudreaux of like the way that he said. That's kind of where we're at right now. I forget the exact quote he had at the end there.
He said when you get to the point where you're scratching these guys or whatever, and he said that's where I'm at. That's what he said.
Yeah. No, interesting. It's like, yeah, it's listen, we've been calling for it for a while. See what the defense core looks like with OEL or Myers scratched. Unfortunately, they're not helping. Right? They're both on the ice. I mean, that pairing together has been horrendous of late in their own zone.
We've talked about buyouts. We've talked about all this stuff with OEL, and we talked about yesterday how hard it's going to be to move this guy. Legitimately, I think the only way, and Rick Tocchet brought up again today in the old rumor mill and news cycle. So there's one way, but I think legitimately, and I hate to say this because OEL, by all accounts, good guy, like good teammate, people like him. In the room, I mean, people like him. I don't mean in the fan base, but legitimately with that contract still on your books, like the only method that the Canucks are really going to be able to do, other than a buyout, of course, which we've talked about, but doesn't sound like that's going to happen. We have to wait and see. Legitimately, like it has to come down to just you're a healthy scratch because you're that bad. Like you're not helping the team, and we can go get a guy for $1 or $2 million. We can get Riley Stillman, who's going to be as good, if not better than you. And again, the interesting thing, and I know like we wrote about it at Canucks Army this morning about how they are just getting absolutely torched at even strength with OEL and Myers on the ice. Like more than double any other defenseman, that pairing and I
together. Think what you're hoping is like, listen, when you break up that pairing, you're hoping to like mollify the defensive problems that you've seen so far from that duo, but it's like you're still going to have Tyler Myers out there by himself, and you're bringing in Stillman instead of OEL. So like it's, this isn't like a problem-solving thing. This is kind of just like trying to get rid of one problem, but there's another problem coming in with Stillman playing, and then you're also breaking up the Hughes-Bear pairing, which I think has been pretty good. Strong at moving the puck.
It's been good. Yep, it's been good. But the thing I want to mention there about Hughes and Bear is like they haven't been getting big matchups. Like it has been OEL Myers getting the toughest matchups.
Yeah, that's a good point. And tonight would be
tonight. And for those listening, Hughes Shen together back again. Hey, that's nice for Luke Shen. Like that pairing's fine together. It's probably not the best pairing, but just because of what the Canucks have around those two guys, they have to be paired together in order to just not have a Riley Stillman, Luke Shen pairing.
I'm sorry, could you imagine the OEL Myers pairing going up against Brandon Hagel, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov? That top line, Nikita Kucherov is for Canucks fans tonight who just like watching hockey, have a fun time watching Kucherov tonight. The dude's got 59 points in 39 games. Like he's ridiculous. He's the follow-up guy behind Draisaitl and McDavid, and who just they multiply points with each other there.
Even Hughes and Bear as being the shutdown pair, they can't. They're not against. They were fine when they were together, but they can't be a shutdown pair.
So how do you think the minutes are going to be distributed tonight? Because it is interesting to see Dermott and Myers go together, which we've seen as a third pairing for the Canucks. In very recent memory, we've seen that as a third pairing for this Vancouver Canucks team. They're now into what looks like a top four role, but Ethan Bear, I think, has been a player that you would rather have in your top. Honestly, like I'd rather have Ethan Bear in the top four than Dermott or Myers, right? At this point in the season, for sure. Like I'm pretty confident in that. Shen, I think, is the one that you fit with Hughes, and you think, okay, that's going to slow things down a little bit with that pairing. Maybe that helps there a little bit, but I really thought that there was some chemistry between Hughes and Bear that was building. Like it felt like they're not necessarily breakouts, but passes that set up a breakout of your own zone were starting to get there. They were starting to understand where to go on the ice, where to make the pass to, and having some pretty clean breakouts because of the space that was created from their playmaking. So a little interested to see, how that looks if they go back to the Hughes Bear pairing and see what it looks like moving forward, because I thought that was a pretty good pairing that was together. And there's a mention in the chat here from Ole that says Mikheyev shouldn't be on the fourth line. I completely agree. I've been watching like Mikheyev lately. A lot of the the dog rating which I've created. Best thing in hockey right now, especially in Canuck land. But unfortunately, they can't do anything. But Mikheyev, a lot of the individually, like the stats that I have to track that aren't publicly available, Mikheyev has been crushing it in those stats. Like, he is doing such a good job of moving the puck in the right direction, getting it towards the net for penalty, like for scoring chances. Like, I really think Mikheyev's been really good, and it's going to be, but it's like, where else would he fit, right? That's the other thing that I kind of have a struggle with. It's like, where else would he fit? I think he's a better option than Connor Garland right now to play with a Horvat and a Miller. But then it's like, is Garland a fourth line? Does he get healthy scratch at that point? There are starting to be some problems here with this forward group when you're not playing the three centers down the middle, and you can't play Miller down the middle right now. He's not going to be helping your team the way that a player who's about to be making $8 million a year should. So you have to play him on the wing. But when that happens, it makes it a little bit difficult to put these lines together, because it's like you need two scoring lines and then it's two other lines, right? And that's what it kind of feels like. You hope that you get some offense production out of like your scoring of the bottom six lines, but it's going to be it's a strange look for me seeing Mikheyev down to that fourth line. I'm with you, Ole, on that one.
So I agree. Like, Mikheyev shouldn't be there on pure talent and pure skill, whatever. Someone tweeted this at me and was like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure they're going to try and build Besser, Garland, and these guys that aren't going to be here long term. They're going to try to build their trade value. They've already seen Mikheyev can do it. Like, Mikheyev's played well this year. Yeah. He's here for 4 years. You have to obviously balance, making your trade chips, something of value, like making them look better than they actually are, and not pissing off your most recent free agent signing. Like, you obviously have to balance that as a team. But again, like, it all just comes back to this team just needs to figure it out. And right now they're not in a place to figure it out. Like, they have to do it ahead of the deadline. And it's just,
well, it feels like they're actually starting. Like, we are the name of the show yesterday was, are the Canucks silently tanking?
Sure.
And it's like, there are some things, if you want to look at it a certain way, where it's like some pieces are being put together here to tank, right? Feels like it a little bit. Like, you're shutting down Pearson for the year already. Couple of surgeries. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Also, yeah.
But it's what we say about this team all the time. It's the process, right? The process of that is something that looks like it's towards a tank. So, the guys all down in the AHL, let them sit there and continue to play good hockey and win games. Like, I don't know. There are certain things you can look at with this team and say, okay, maybe they are leaning into that direction and finally going to take a step in the right direction. I'm not saying they're going down that road yet, but maybe there are certain things here you can say, okay, they look like they're taking a step towards it anyways. Either that, or they're just, it's some weird sort of, like, I'm just trying to be, like, I at least have some ounce of positivity here.
Retool, mix the lines, repeat, same as the Benning era. Sell the team, Aquilini. That's from user on the YouTube live chat. Beard testosterone.
That's a new one. I haven't seen that name.
No, that's a new
welcome
person
to
in the chat.
To the chat. All right, let's other thing. Colin Delia is going to start tonight.
Yes.
Thoughts? You're a goalie guy.
Does not surprise me at all. Like, it's almost the same as what Beard Testosterone just said, of like,
that's your new favorite user, isn't it?
That's a great name. You're retooling, you're mixing the lines, like, you're switching out the goalies. Nothing's really going to happen, right? Like, it was fun when Colin Delia, came in and was making all these saves and looking like Dominic Hasek, as our friend Wyatt Arndt would point out in the Stanchies. It was fun, but like, Colin Delia is not, like, as soon as Thatcher Demko returns, and that's why I find it so funny, and I always said there was no goaltending controversy at any point in Vancouver, well, this season at least, when people are like, oh, when Thatcher Demko returns, maybe Spencer Martin's going to be the starter because he's playing so well when Demko first went down, blah, 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 whatever. That's not going to happen. Like, Demko's coming back, he's going to be the starter, and hopefully he's going to perform better than Delia and Spencer Martin have.
Oops. Yeah,
your little computer there.
I know. I got to get that. I got to figure out how to mute that. I had it. You saw my computer. It did a full reset the other day. I don't know what happened. Everything's gone.
It's okay. Let's stay on track.
Notifications. I got to get back on track.
Okay.
Here.
You want to do, what do you do with? Go.
Oh, yeah. Talking about having fun. You can pull it up. Pull it up, Alex. Let's get this thing that I built, even though it has nothing to do with the what do you do with. It's do you have an idea? It's a similar sort of thing. So my graphic for this, Quads, I like to do this normally on Wednesdays, but we'll wrap it up with you on a Thursday. Your last show of the week. What do you do with? I want to start with the first power play unit. You touched on it a little bit with Brock Besser. Maybe you want to pump up a little bit of value there to see if something could happen for him moving forward on the trade market. So on the first power play unit, what changes would you make And let's start with Kuzmenko or Brock Besser as the 5th guy there, because I don't think you're messing with the other 4. But I'd be curious if you want to try something different. Just let me know. First power play unit, what would you rock with here?
Kuzmenko or Besser?
Yeah, let's start there.
Kuzmenko. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
But also, back to the conversation of poor Alex trying to switch cameras here because we're going back and forth. But also back to the idea of building trade value. Like, look, Andrei Kuzmenko, I would say, has trade value. Like, a lot of it, right? Like, it's a unicorn opportunity. Like, it's almost like a perfect storm where teams are so cap strapped, they're not going to be able. It's the only time that teams are going to be able to add a guy on an ELC making under $1 million.
Could have 25 goals.
Could have 25 goals by the time the trade deadline rolls around. It's like the only time that's going to happen. This is probably never going to happen again, right? So,
and think about the player type that you're about to add with a Kuzmenko.
Mm-hmm.
If you're adding him in the right spot and he's going onto your first power play unit, you're laughing because that's a huge boost to a team going into the playoffs if your power play can be huge for you.
You know who I bet would want
power
Kuzmenko?
plays? A lot of teams.
Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, yeah, I know the Oilers would.
The Oilers really wanted him.
Big time. They
wanted him so much they took him to Joey's.
We'll try again. They'll get him at a different spot now. They'll take him to Dogwater or whatever it's called out there. What's it called?
Dog Patch. It's
Dog
really
Patch.
good.
That's the spot we went to. It's a good spot over there in Edmonton. It's it feels like you're in a neighborhood.
It is in a
neighborhood. Then you're in a neighborhood and boom, you're in Dog Patch.
By the River Valley. It's very nice. Okay.
Dogwater. That's you on Rocket League instead. All right. It's first power play. Yeah, I'd do the similar. I'd go with Kuzmenko. I wouldn't move too much around. I think it's crazy that Pettersson has no power play goals up to this point in the season, right? Like that might be one of the weirdest stats right now from this Canucks team this year. Is that Elias Pettersson 0 power play goals. Bo Horvat has 10. Kuzmenko has 8. JT Miller has 7. Sheldon Dries has 2. Sheldon Dries.
But if
2 more than Pettersson.
If you take Elias Pettersson off of the power play,
you don't.
A lot of those guys. No, I'm saying as a lot of those guys' goal totals come down. So he hasn't scored, but he's a big part of why those guys have scored.
Yeah, just a ridiculous stat to me that he has 0 power play.
Absolutely,
goals.
I agree with you.
All right, next one here. What do you do with the NHL or the AHL for Niels Höglander over the next 2 months?
AHL all the way.
All the way season 3?
Absolutely.
Okay, Niels Amon.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. You don't want to get him back in the NHL. Niels Amon's an interesting one for me because it's like he's going to just be a 4th-line guy.
You don't think he has any ceiling above that?
I don't think there's much to gain for him aside from a little bit of confidence in the AHL. And I think an AHL stint for a player like him, you can get confident in a month.
Sure.
I think Höglander actually has parts of his game that he really needs to work on. That's why I have no problem with him staying in the AHL for the rest of the season because it's not just about confidence. It's obviously a part of it. But if you're just going down for a confidence boost, like Niels Amon can play in the NHL. He can. He's got speed. He's got size. Needs to work on a few things to kind of chip in offensively. And I guess he's getting a chance to work on that at the AHL level. But I think he would be one that comes up quicker than Höglander. I think Höglander is more of a long-term one.
Sure.
Vasily Podkolzin, when do you think he's back in the NHL, if at all this season?
Well, now with the news that Tanner Pearson's out, I would say you could bring him up. And, like I say there comes a point in the season when, and, this is if they really tank. I'd say this is post-deadline, to be honest with you. If they move a winger or they move Bo Horvat and Miller moves back to the center position,
right.
I would say there's a point in the season where you say, okay, let's just play the kids. And I'd entertain it with Niels Höglander, but I think with Vasily Podkolzin, kind of what you were talking about yesterday, how he just looks like an NHL player in the AHL, and you don't know how much he's gaining, whereas Höglander's working on a lot of different things. Like, I would like to see Podkolzin back in the NHL, probably post-trade deadline if the Canucks make the moves that we hope they're going to make.
Okay. Jack Rathbone, same deal. When's he coming back to the NHL? Is he coming back to the NHL?
Yeah,
listen, you got the guys now, you got healthy scratches like OEL, you got to jump now to get into the lineup.
Yeah.
Riley Stillman, Burrows.
I would personally, I would put Jack Rathbone in the NHL right now because I just, I don't think it really matters what's happening. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what's happening. And I think this guy needs to gain confidence playing at the NHL level. And I think anytime he's been given the chance to, it's been stripped away as soon as he makes a mistake.
Right.
And I get that to some extent. Like, I get it. But, the only way he's going to learn is by playing. So if I'm fine with him playing in the AHL, I'm not super passionate about either one, which I know makes great radio and is awesome for the podcast listeners. But really, I don't think it matters that much what happens with Jack Rathbone here. Like, the guy needs to play. We've seen him do it at the AHL level. I personally would like to see him defend against NHL competition on a more regular basis. And I think the end of the season, when you're trying to tank, or at least we hope they are, is when you play these guys. Like, I think that's the perfect time to get Jack Rathbone up here and let him make his mistakes, right? Is when it's like, okay, we don't really care about the result. If anything, we are trying to lose some games here because we want Connor Bedard.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think it'd be interesting to see him play with an Ethan Bear or Luke Schenn more as well, just to see what that works. Listen, playing defense pairing with Tyler Myers is hard. Okay, that's a hard job. Look at what it's done to OEL. It's worn him out after a year and a half. So it's a tough spot for Rathbone when he has to play with Tyler Myers, and that's not really his style that fits well with him. So I'd be curious what he looks like with an Ethan Bear, specifically an Ethan Bear. I'd like to see a third pairing of Rathbone and Bear moving forward. But here's the other one, Quads, and I'll come in on this one a little bit as well. Who plays more NHL games this season? Jack Rathbone or Christian Wolanin? Listen, one player's stock, Jack Rathbone going down, Super Wolanin, AHL All-Star now. He's on the way up. These guys are going to meet in the middle. Who's playing more NHL games this year? Rathbone or Wolanin? And from this point on, because Rathbone's got a couple, I don't know how many games he's got in this year even, but
I would say they're both going to play zero
NHL games.
I would like to see Wolanin get some games in as well. Like, I would like to see Wolanin and Rathbone get some games in. Like, I would rather see Wolanin and Rathbone up here ahead of Stillman and Burrows, like alternating in that third pairing spot.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, why not?
Burrows, I'd like to see in the lineup more. But
I would like to see Burrows in the lineup too. I'm saying down the stretch here.
And you're right. As soon as Schenn goes, Burrows, that should be Burrows' spot for the rest of the season. Look like an NHL player and prove to, it's not going to be Bruce Boudreau coaching next year, but prove to the coach who's here next year,
Rick Tocchet,
whoever it is, like prove to him that you want to be a guy that can be trusted to just be the bottom minute guy on your defense pairing. That's all Kyle Burrows wants. Just wants to wear a Canucks jersey, go play some games.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is more than you can say about a lot of his
one or the
teammates.
other, though. Who's going to play more NHL games from here on out this season? Rathbone or Wolanin? I think Wolanin is too. I think they're going to get him some games, which is interesting. It's just the roadblocks for Rathbone. They continue to be put in front of him, but it's like he hasn't
gone out and done it.
Yeah, like he hasn't knocked through the roadblocks himself. He's struggled on those roadblocks. So we'll see what happens. Yanni Yermo or Jacob Truscott, which one do you think plays a game in a Canucks jersey first, whether it be Abbotsford or NHL? Do you think Yanni Yermo or Jacob So my main question here is, do you think Jacob Truscott would sign this year and come out and play with the Canucks?
How would I know?
All right, I'll answer this question. I think the Canucks are going to be pursuing Truscott after this NCAA season. I also think that Michigan is going to go through quite a different change, which is the school that Truscott goes to. I think they're going to have
all of that was what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's I think Truscott's going to come out and sign after this year. I haven't had a good conversation with him, but I actually will. I'll reach out to him pretty quick here and see where his head's at. But I think the Canucks have a little bit of interest in him, and obviously Yermo's a name that Patrick Alvin mentioned to me when asking about this. So we'll have to see. But I wouldn't surprise to see Truscott in the AHL for a playoff run. You had Truscott, you had McDonough, you had Livingstone. Tell you what, the AHL team would be looking a lot of fun over there.
I think Livingstone would be this team's first pairing.
You're right. Livingstone would probably jump Kyle Burrows, and he'd be playing in the NHL. If the Canucks are going to sign Livingstone, and they're going to try, from what I've heard, they're going to try. There's conversations with the agent, not about the player, but there has been with the organization and this agent.
If you sign Jake Livingstone and you have the stretch run of the season, and you don't play him at the NHL level, you're just
Livingstone could be playing with Quinn Hughes.
That's what I'm saying.
He legitimately could.
And even if he makes mistakes there, who cares? Like, that's what this season needs to become.
That would be cool.
If they go out and sign Jake Livingstone and play him at the NHL level, there's some hope for your fan base, right? Sure. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play fantastic. The guy's a rookie. Like, he's going to be a rookie next year.
And for people who don't know, Jake Livingstone, probably the top NCAA free agent coming out this year. He's a right shot defenseman from BC. He's not a Canucks.
Langley Riverman.
Yeah, but he's not a Canucks fan. He's a Calgary Flames fan growing up. So he's from one of those cities out at Creston, I believe is where he's from. So we'll have to see what happens. A little bit of excitement here in the chat about it. Yeah, like some young guys in the AHL, right? Like Sterling's got a good comment there. I want young guys to keep winning in the AHL. They have never got to win one with this organization.
That's right.
I like Lisa's just agreeing very hard with everyone of the emojis in there in the chat. All right, next one here. No more hockey stuff, Quads, but I got two different what do you do with? What's the best thing to do on a first date? Because back in the day it was movies. I think it's changed quite a bit because you never get to talk to the person on the first date if you went to a movie.
You don't go to a movie.
It's drinks now, right? You go for drinks?
Yeah. Simple.
What was your first date with your significant other? What'd you guys do?
Actually, I cooked for her.
Oh.
Remember when I was in my cooking phase?
Yeah, that's right.
I still like to cook.
Yeah, but then you found out how good of a cook she is.
She's a really good cook.
You don't cook anymore.
I'm not even allowed in the kitchen anymore.
No, that's true. No. Okay. So it's drinks, right? You just go for drinks.
Yep.
What's a fun idea?
For a date?
Yeah, I always thought the seawall was always a good one. That's where I went on
live in the ivory tower here.
Oh, come on, the seawall.
Us folks in the valley.
Yeah, you guys are all just what are you guys doing? Friggin' blazing one up and walking around a lake or what? That's
and walking around a lake's fun.
Well, yeah, walking around
There's
a lake's
a lot
nice
of
too.
lakes in, Quitlam, various
If I still had my boat, I tell you, going out fishing would be a nice one. Just what are you laughing about over there?
I'm remembering when you took a picture of your boat and your truck and we're like, I'll be fine.
Yeah, that boat was great.
When you deleted all your tweets a while ago, that got lost, and that was really sad because that was one of the funniest things we ever pulled off.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a really funny joke.
All right, so good first date spots. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Is the movie still an idea? Mini golf, Kevin says.
Mini golf's cool.
I don't think Sterling's talking about this, but going to Minnesota State. That's a good first date as well. Sterling, great idea. You take the significant other.
Take her to Montana.
You meet her on Tinder a couple days later. Yeah, what's your phone number? Hey, let's go to Minnesota.
Or Montana.
You go down there. But yeah, Kevin, I think, has nailed it. Mini golf is a good one. I went mini golfing early on with my now fiance.
Nice.
Didn't have a good time.
Why is that?
She wasn't very good. And we went real golfing after.
And how was she at that?
Ooh, well, that's what I'm saying. She wasn't very good at. She was fine in the mini golf, but
I was gonna say, how can you be bad at mini golf?
But she's interested in trying to golf this year, and I golfed a little bit more this summer. I had a good time going out and do some golf.
I've taken my significant other to the driving range.
Yeah, I'm not going back to the driving range.
She wasn't bad. She was making contact, and that's all you got to do. Is like once they're making contact, they just got to get the process down of hitting it straight.
Yeah. Mini golf, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, mini golf's a good one.
What do you do with? This is the last non-hockey question.
Yeah, hurry.
A hamburger. You get 4 toppings to complement bun and beef. 4 toppings total. Like I said, just bun, just beef. So you need to add cheese if that's on your 4 toppings.
Cheese.
What kind?
Monterey Jack.
Okay.
Monterey Jack cheese, pickles, mustard, and onions. That's it.
That's a pretty dry burger.
You're a pretty dry burger.
That's a little. I'm going with Swiss cheese, bacon, dill pickle mustard from Trader Joe's, and Big Mac sauce.
Wow, you okay? That's a wet burger.
Yeah, sauce, bacon, cheese. That's all you need.
All right. Oh, I'm changing onions.
Poached egg on.
Yeah, I mean, you said onions. If they're grilled up, like good ballpark.
That's
onions,
what I mean, like sauteed and whatever. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on, right?
Yeah, odds and ends.
We're done.
This is my new favorite thing because I don't need to think of like a witty.
I also wanted to add this.
This is the worst ticker I've ever put together. It's like the most basic thing on the bottom. They're just lineup changes. What do you do with, which is a segment we do often here on the show, and then odds and ends. But like, Alex, what happened? Did you fall asleep on the period button on your keyboard? What happened on the ticker down there? Holy cow!
I want to add this in. We need to talk about this. Right before we did this, we did a Patreon. I don't know if you want to pull up my tweet on your screen or whatever for the YouTube viewers, but we did a Patreon right before this. We were sitting on your couch just hanging out before the show was going to start, and I saw this game called Let's Get Deep Questions for Couples, and I said, hey, let's play this. So we did. We played this game, Let's Get Deep Questions for Couples. They are categorized into 3 categories of icebreaker, deep, and deeper. And we did all of the all of the categories, and we had some fun. Took us about 30 minutes. It's uploaded, or it will be uploaded on the patreon.com/Canucks Convo. $5 and $10 tiers gets you all of the bonus content. We're going to be posting a lot more. We're not even going to say we're trying to.
There's a lot on there now.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
An interview.
Yeah, Podkol's an interview. No, you can't find this anywhere else.
This was fun, and we'll do this again. This was super easy. Yeah. This took no prep. We just started pulling out cards here. I see some comments in there. Laura says, looking forward to watching this after the live show. And Trevor has posted a couple of vegetables.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I also just realized the box is purple. Same color.
The box
of that
is
vegetable.
purple. Good job, Quad.
Yeah. Well, the same color. Anyways.
All right. Odds and ends. Yeah. We touched on it. Tanner Pearson. A secondhand surgery.
You know what? It was.
If you say it the right way, it's kind of funny.
It was a 3rd surgery. Did you notice that? There was a clarification made by the Canucks.
Oh.
I'm not going to speculate on that much more, but they added additional information. This was actually like the third surgery. I'll read it verbatim what they said, but what they were getting at was that this was actually the third surgery that he had. So here's what came out this morning. So general manager Patrick Alvin announced today that forward Tanner Pearson underwent a second hand surgery yesterday after a setback in his recovery, and he will miss the remainder of the 2022-23 season. Additional information. This was followed up about 2 or 3 hours later. 2 hours, excuse me. No, 3 hours. Pearson's surgery yesterday was his second procedure since the original surgery in November. So it sounds like 3 surgeries in 2 months for Tanner Pearson, who is now out for the rest of the season. Yeah. But keep in mind, they used the word procedure. So they didn't say it was a third surgery, but it does seem like that. It was a procedure, nonetheless, and I don't know what else that would mean.
All the best for him on his way to recovery. That's unfortunate. Listen, you can trash what he does on the ice all you want, but to have to go through like multiple surgeries on your hand, as a professional athlete, that's a tough spot for Pearson to be in. So I hope he does make a strong recovery here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we won't see him this season. We know that. We will not be seeing Tanner Pearson this season. Yeah, I can't remember if it was a slash or not. I see RJ in there. I think that's Canucks assistant general manager Ryan Johnson asking, did he get slashed? I can't remember. I can't remember the injury either.
It was on November 9th against Montreal. I don't remember what happened.
I don't remember him like leaving a game because of it.
Yeah,
Someone could correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat, but I don't think so.
Yeah. The other odds and end that I wanted to get to, working on this for Canucks Army right now. I'm going to get it out there
I got
soon.
A couple here too. Yeah.
Jim Rutherford was speaking to our pal Dollywall. Rick Dollywall over at Donnie and Dolly. Kind of talked about that Pittsburgh Tribune article, said I'm not going to retire. Dollywall was kind of saying that
he didn't want to move his family here.
Yeah, Rutherford's not going to move his family just to retire in a year. He's not going to quit, barring a health issue, and right now he's in great health.
As healthy as ever, yeah.
Dollywall. And then the other thing.
No panic moves, right?
No panic moves. No quick fixes. They are going to be thinking about the long game with the future in mind. And firmly to that, I will say I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, you know what? I was about to raise my voice, and then I was like, don't waste your time. Quit raising your voice all the time. I was going to get on a little rant there and be like, well, then do it already, damn it. Yep. But I'm tired of doing that, too. I'm tired of my throat can't take it anymore. I got, been yelling all the time.
No one's faulting you for that, bud.
No, I said I can't yell about it anymore and keep my voice low. Just do something already. Just do it something with the long term then, man. Jesus. Do it. I'm tired of hearing about talking about it.
Remember that Shia LaBeouf video?
Yeah.
Where he screams, just do it? I remember being so confused when that came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, another odds.
Speaking of that video back in the day of the hitchhiker with the Kai the Hitchhiker. Anybody else see this on Netflix here? Kai the Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Man, that I watched that documentary last night. That went dark real quick.
Okay. Anyways.
I recommend it. Hour 24 minutes. Last night I put it down between about
odds
midnight.
and ends part 2. Let's go.
Right. Well, that's an odd and an end.
Was odd.
Bad end too as well. 50. I don't want to ruin it, but
let's go.
People can look it up. It's
okay. Let's
Netflix.
Let's go.
Kuzmenko's agent. He's going to talk to the Canucks in the next week. Okay. Canucks want a first or a second round pick for him.
Where did you read this?
Milstein's going to talk to the Canucks. They're going to be talking.
Are you reporting this, or is this out there already?
It's out there. Yeah.
From who?
It's out there now.
Well, you gotta cite your sources here, bud.
That's Dollywall. We're still talking. Dollywall said it today on the show. I'll talk to Milstein.
I missed it, and you didn't tell me about it.
Next week he's going to talk Kuzmenko and Milstein. They're going to talk to the Canucks next week. So I don't know if a deal gets done too quick either, though, to be honest.
Okay.
I'll talk to Milstein.
All right.
Shen interest is high too. That's going to be it. Teams want Luke Shen, man.
Yeah, I think everybody wants Luke Shen.
Do you want to do any of this coaching stuff?
No.
All-Star breaks coming up. Is that the time?
No.
I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to rock Boudreau out for the rest of the season.
Drager said on Sekeres and Price that he thinks a coaching change could happen in season, but that he thinks it'll be an interim coach brought up. Yeah, and then Friedman today on 32 Thoughts got asked about Rick Tocchet, said that nothing's imminent. And that here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. If the Canucks hire Rick Tocchet, it will be their decision. Breaking news.
Yeah, thanks. Lisa nailed it. Words mean nothing. Actions, please.
Yeah.
Kevin as well. There we go.
Faber's fired up.
No, what I need is like I don't know. You find this out. Just give me a waterfall in the back. Just like I'm in a relaxed mood here. I don't want some.
All right.
I'm cooling it down.
Well,
a little bit.
you'll get to go take a nap because we're almost done.
Give me one of those. What's the ride above
Space Mountain?
No. The soaring across California. Give me a soaring across the Antarctica.
Okay. Betway wrap up. Let's go.
Yeah, Betway. This is gonna be a big one for Betway because I like the bets today. All right, quads. All right, Betway. Here we go. Brock Besser. Listen, he's moving up Betway. He's going up to play on the top line with Elias Pettersson and Kuzmenko, who's been money on Betway this season. So over 2.5 shots on net from Brock Besser on Betway, plus 125. Betway. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Brock Besser over 2.5 shots, like I said, plus 125. $10 bet that'll return you $22.50 over on Betway. And then this one. The Betway folks, quads, I get emails from these Betway folks. They say, you do any more of these 2400s, action is going to come. And here's the action right here. $10 bet. That'll return you $250. There's your action, Betway. Betway. Canucks to win. Over 6.5 total goals. And Elias Pettersson to score 2 goals in this game. Quads, this is a massive one. $10 bet, return you $250. They told me, don't do these big bets. They never hit. If the Canucks are going to win tonight, and Pettersson gets 2 goals, you come here tomorrow, you take that $250, you go on 3 semi-decent dinners, not expensive ones, but you can go on 3 pretty decent dinners for $250. Or you can go to the grocery store and you can buy a flat of Mr. Noodles and probably 6 chicken breasts for $250. So either or, you're eating good for the next little bit here. So you got some options. Hit the bet today. Betway. That's our Betway bets of the day.
Okay, and we'll wrap it up there. Canucks are in Tampa tonight, folks.
4 o'clock start, by the way. For people listening to the podcast, we're sorry. We'll talk tomorrow about the show. I got Harmon in here anyways. It's good stuff with Harm.
The money himself, Harmon Dial, will be in for me tomorrow. Me and Harmon should do a
Let's Get Deep.
That'd be funny.
I'll tell you what. You sit in the car with Harmon before pickleball for a half an hour, you do get deep. You don't need these cards. Harm is, I tell you, Harm loves to talk about life more than anyone. Thoughts about life. That guy's deep. He doesn't need the cards.
All right.
And by the way, that'll be up on the Patreon. I'm going to do that right after this. Once the podcast for this show's posted, patreon.com/Canucks Convo. There's a private link there for the YouTube. And as well as I'll put it in the audio so people can listen on their podcast platforms as well. Hopefully,
all right.
People enjoy that. What's going on?
We'll wrap it up there as Alex brings up the chat GPT, which we'll get to. I think we should get to that on Monday. I'm going
to get Harm with this tomorrow, Alex. We'll have a chat about this, Alex. We'll screw with Harm a little bit.
All right. We'll wrap it up there. For my co-host, Chris Faber, and our technical producer, Alex Allard, my name is Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
Wrap it up.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?